We are a very lean company. We've spent only over those years 2.3 million euros. Worst investment climate in 15 years. I did a bit the same mistake as most startups do. They have a great idea and they start building it. I completely forgot about the communication side or the fun side. A stupid cliche that everybody thinks that the people want to talk to bartenders. No, they don't want to talk to bartenders, and the bartenders don't want to talk to you. I have to admit that I've made wrong choices also by hiring people. The machine arrived completely broken. The machine flooded the pavilion before the King of Dubai visited. My partner at that time bankrupted and left us with a debt. Mystery to me where the money comes. It's always good to invest in a good legal team. They have copied our machine. The Chinese company that is also incorporated in USA. Japan, zero, to my very big surprise. That's bullshit. 15 machines and the company breaks even. Tested 3 months, and if it doesn't work, we take it back. You have to have big balls, steel nerves, a lot of time, and brave heart.
And deep pockets.
I think it's time to revolutionize it. So, where are the tits? I want to see the tits. It's not gonna be easier soon, but the strongest survive. If I would have known how difficult it is, I would have never done it.
Welcome everybody. My name is Eugene Kovalenko, and I'm happy to see you at YANU Robotics podcast, the place where we explore how you can benefit from using robotics, AI, and automation in the food and beverage business. Today I'm hosting here a very special guest, founder and CEO of Robotic Bartender project from Estonia, Mr. Alan Adojaan. Hi, Alan. How are you doing?
Hey, hello, everybody. All good? Thanks.
It's my pleasure having you here. Always great seeing you.
Absolutely. Pleasure seeing you always.
So, Alan, I'm really looking forward to having a fruitful discussion today. You've been in that industry for quite some time already, and I'm sure you've generated tons of experience. Probably gained dozens of insights, and that would be great if you share those today with our audience.
Yeah, would be a pleasure. Absolutely. It's been 9 years for now, actually.
Yeah, since 2016, right?
Yeah, correct.
So the audience of this podcast are businessmen, businesses who are looking to either integrate robotic F&B solutions and start making money on it, and those businesses who are looking to set up and create their own robotic solutions. Thus, today I want to touch several subjects with you. First, it is what it takes to set up and run a business like yours. I'm sure it's never easy. What it takes me as an entrepreneur to become a partner, to invest into your project, to invest into your product, and start making my profit on it. And the third thing, I'm absolutely interested to hear your vision on the market in general, where it is going, what it was in 2016, what it is nowadays, how it looks like, and what can be done to be a successful entrepreneur in this food and tech business. So let's start. So as you mentioned, 2016, YANU appeared, and as far as I know, your background mainly lies in public relations. I mean, your bachelor's degree, your master's degree as public relations and communications. Do you actually remember the moment when you decided to enter this food robotics business?
Yes, actually, the previous background work-wise has been 15 years in hospitality. I used to run the biggest nightclubs here in Estonia, several restaurants, cocktail bars, and so on. And why I quit there was the regular, usual problems of the venue owners. It's mostly the staff, and when you see a venue that is full of people and you are not able to give out the drinks fast, then you lose money and you lose clients. And it was a constant problem in every place. You can't service fast enough, then you don't have enough people. They leave the jobs, they don't show up. So it's all the same problems. And especially after the COVID, by the way, most of the bartenders were fired over these 2 years, and there's a lot of people who didn't come back because that's not a fun job, to be honest. If you're in a very nice hotel bar, then it's a fancy job, but say in a nightclub, it's a job for a robot actually, and nobody likes that job actually. It's a tough business. So I did finish my working there because I was so fed up in a way, because that job means that on the daytime you have to sit in an office and solve the daily problems, and at nighttime you have to be at the bar and solve the problems ongoing with the drunk people or whatever supplies and so on. So it's a constant problem solving. And then I started thinking how to optimize that process, how to make things either faster or easier for a bartender, or more understandable and fluent for the client. In the beginning, it was just an idea, maybe to take some of the processes and optimize them, delivery or whatever. Um, of course, my friends first thought that I've gone crazy and didn't take it seriously because, a robot that serves drinks, it's maybe a bit science fiction at that time. There was one company who did something like that. So anyway, I walked to a local university and asked those guys, could you help me to invent the technology or help out with some of the ideas? And luckily, I found the right guy. There's a professor in Estonia, Alvo Aablo, who is connected to very many robotics projects. Right now, he's doing something with the space tech. He's working on defense and so on. Anyway, he liked the idea very much and said, why are we optimizing some parts of the process? Why don't we create the robot that does the whole job from the order to the delivery? And I was like, yeah, well, if it's doable, let's do it. So he quickly found a team. There's an old engineer who has been building the big Vestas wind turbines, working for Bentley, Mercedes, very well-known companies. And he started to work. We also brought in several students. For instance, one guy from Iran who came to do the bachelor's. Now he's finished his PhD on robotics. He's our main asset. And with that team, we managed to figure out and draw a machine. Of course, we had two great designers too, who are also science fiction fans and drew a machine that still looks super cool and out of a sci-fi movie, right? Or out of a future. With this team, we came with a year. We came to a first idea, how it looks like and what it should do, and how are we gonna use the robot there. We don't exactly need to use the robot. Maybe the tubes and the pumps would be faster, cheaper, easier, but there has to be also some experience or some fun factor or a value of something cool, right? So we decided we keep the robot arm. The other reason for that is that cocktails need to be made in a special way, and they have to be fresh, and the ingredients have to be put into the glass in a special order. So that's why we use the arm. So it does the job of a bartender, and it looks like that, and it is like that. Anyway, then over the 2019, we managed to build the first prototype. But then my partner at that time bankrupted and left us with a debt. So the prototype was nearly ready. It did the cocktails, but we didn't have the covers, we didn't have the bells and whistles there, so it looked like a hack, let's be honest. It took me another half a year to find new funding. A big investor came in, and then we finished the first prototype. It went to the biggest kind of events venue here in Estonia, Song Festival grounds, and we had our first tests and first breakdowns and first problems. And from there on, the maybe a couple of the big milestones. We built the second machine fast because the Estonian government asked us to join the Estonian pavilion in Dubai World Expo. We finished the machine 2 days before the shipment went off, so we didn't have time to test. The machine arrived completely broken. We went to fix it like 3 times there before the event. I think a week before the event, nothing worked. So we thought we'll quit and take it to a scrapyard there. But managed to make it work, and in the end, it was a big success. Of course, all kinds of problems happened there. The machine flooded the pavilion before the King of Dubai visited, and so on. So it was tense, but it was a big success in the end, and we acquired a lot of prospective clients there too. And maybe the second and third was a robot bar here in Tallinn for 9 months. That was also very popular, and dozens and dozens of events that we have been over the world. So in short, that's our main milestones and journey so far.
Right. I guess Dubai Expo is the very first moment where I came across physically your product and where we met together. I need to say it was cool. It was a great experience, and absolutely it was something fresh at that moment. So Alan, as far as I know, it took you quite some time to develop the very first unit, right? In general, if you say about the COVID time, so it's almost 4 years for the development.
Yes, 4 or 5, yeah. Well, that's 2 issues. First, we are a very lean company. We've spent only over those years 2.3 million euros or something, and compared to the competitors that have spent 30-40 million, that's nothing. And the main reason was that we didn't have much to spend. Second, we had university with us, and that made it possible to do things much cheaper than in a commercial way. And that's also a reason why it took so long time. Of course, they say that hardware development means usually 5-7 years to get into a proper prototype that works, even with the smaller hardware solutions. So I would say we were quite fast and quite lean. But yes, as you know, building hardware means redoing, failing, rebuilding. For instance, our glass feeding system that we have invented ourselves. I think we have like 7th version of it, and we needed to redo a lot of things before it properly worked and delivered the glasses properly. So I give a lot of lectures all over Europe now, and every time I say that if I would have known how difficult it is, I would have never done it. But I had a good team. I'm not an engineer myself. Maybe that's one of the problems. But at the same time, you can't do things much faster, I would say.
What it takes to bring together the team for such an innovative project and keep the ongoing, long-lasting motivation for them?
Well, I was lucky because most of the people came through the university, and those people have still stayed with us. They have grown, they have developed, they are very much in the project, even at the hard times when the funds were finished or something was stalled. They still are with us, and I think maybe the reasons are they like the idea. It's a close-knit team, and we work together a lot and have gone through together a lot and taken care of each other. I have to admit that I've made wrong choices also by hiring people, especially on the sales side, because those people usually expect a lot of money, but the delivery isn't so good, or you have to find a very good person for that who understands what he's doing or is able to do some heavy sales. Of course, this product is not maybe so easy to sell because if it's a new product and the people don't know that they need it, then it's a bit difficult. At the same time, we haven't done much sales and marketing except that couple of times we tried. And most of the clients and contacts we have today, about 380 companies in pipeline, have came to us, and they have found us through the events or through internet or through articles. And I still get 2 or 3 emails a week and calls who are interested to buy the machine. So There is a need because I just read a survey or a scientific paper that says that in US there's about 1.2 million service people missing, and they say about a quarter of them bar service people. So that means there's a huge need, especially in Western world where the workforce is expensive. Let's say if you have a hotel or you're running a bar in a airport, you need 3 shifts of people, and that means quite a lot of salaries. That's why our machines' return of investment is I would say very fast. Depending on how many clients you have, how many drinks you sell, the return of investment is 3 to 9 months, and
Right.
that's much faster than a regular bar. And you don't need to buy equipment, you don't need to build the bar, hire people, take care of all those problems. You just set the machine up in one day, and there you go. And the machine can sell 100 drinks an hour. So the output is also like 4 bartenders or something. And yeah, well, I would say setting up this company takes time. Keeping the team together and finding those people in Estonia has been difficult because Estonia is small, and we have a lot of unicorns, a lot of tech companies who grab all the good people. So either you grow the people yourself out of universities or out of training. For instance, we have a girl from Ukraine that came to Tartu University 2 years ago doing the bachelor's. She came to program the coffee module for us from zero scratch. She knew a bit about programming and a bit about this and that, but she knew nothing. And I was very doubtful, should we use her, because we were running on government grant. We had very specific deadlines, 6 months to complete the development. And our main guy was in Canada on training at that time. So we did everything remotely over the internet. So he had to guide her how to program. But in the end, she learned it, I think, over a month and did a whole job by herself. So it's possible to grow and train people for yourself. And I think that's maybe the best way, because then they are loyal to you and they are in the company and acquainted to things and know what to do already, rather than you go on a market and try to hire or buy over people. That's the worst, because then they have a lot of demands and you have to pay a lot and meet their expectations. So
Right.
hiring is tricky. I mean, finding the right people, it's one of the most difficult things, I would say.
Yeah, true. So, Alan, just for me to understand, there is Tartu University, which is the main entity who provided the technology basis for your project, right?
Correct, absolutely.
And that there was a kind of order from a private company for the university to deliver whatever hardware result, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I suggest everybody to do that. It might take a bit longer and they are not so fast and nimble as startup. But I mean, if you find right people and they
Yeah.
burn to do it, then things run very smoothly. There's a slight overhead, of course, I think 20% when you're dealing with university and all those things. And the grants and tenders might help you out, but they are also not the easiest bureaucracy to handle, but I think it's still worth it. And I don't know if I would have hired the people outside. If I then it would have been faster, maybe, but definitely not cheaper. And I'm happy that I did it this way. Who knows?
Absolutely. And all the technology that you have, is it like proprietary, the software, or you buy something ready in the market?
Everything we have software-wise is developed by us, even the payment server. Most of the software, except the hardware software, was developed by a private company, and this private company we acquired in the end. Those people moved to our company, but the apps for the machine, the payment server, the multimedia server, the maintenance app and the backend, those were written by a private company. It's a small 3-4 people that did everything. Maybe it's a bit cluttered because we use 7 different programming languages and you need different people for that, and that's maybe not the wisest solution, but still we own everything. Hardware the same. We buy in the computers, the robot arm, some of the media hardware, but we have invented a lot of stuff ourselves, and the bar machine, ice machine, and the soda cooling system. Those we buy in. But we've developed quite a few bits there. The glass feeding system, as I said, then the ice lifting mechanism. So that's quite a few things. We haven't patented those yet because you first need to finalize those things and then file in the patents. And the patenting is quite expensive. And I would say, as our main engineer says, that there's not much use of those patents because in the area of food robotics, most of the stuff has been patented a long time ago. So to come up with something completely new is nearly impossible. You can do small variations. For instance, compared to one of our competitors, Makr Shakr, they have this shaking thing that closes with a lid.
Yep.
And they have a patent for that. I've seen 2 companies who have copied that. That shows that the patent actually doesn't work. Maybe they've changed a bit something there, as I've understood, and it's a different story. And that's what our engineer also said, that yes, we can patent, waste a lot of money on that, but somebody changes a small tiny thing and it's already a different story. So we patented our design. We patented, of course, the logo and the name, but there's another 3 patents waiting that we could file in once we find that it's reasonable.
As far as I remember, you had a breach case from some Asian company in regards to your design, and you say that you've got a patent, which means that it was not so efficient in securing.
Exactly. I found out a year and a half ago or something that a Chinese company that is also incorporated in USA, by the way, quite a big company. They do different stuff. They have copied our machine. First, it was a design. We sent the letters through our lawyers. They answered even, and they asked to send the patent documents. We had patented it also in China and in US. We sent the documents, and after that, it was silence, of course. So we didn't hear back. And I researched it a bit. Going to court in China is possible, and there's a couple of cases with the foreign companies that have won the cases, but it's super difficult. You have to hire a local lawyer, and it's filed in a specific area or in a specific town, and you have to respond in 2 weeks to the claims. So they might turn it in a way that you can't even access the information where it's filed, or it's super tricky. So I'm not giving up. Once I have time and funds for that, I will definitely work on that and file the complaints. But at this point, let's see. I haven't seen the working prototype, but I know there exists one. So yeah, they copy everything.
Right. Yeah, it happens. From my point of view, those patents have one of the main values in fundraising, especially when you deal with the VCs. Everybody asks you, is your IP protected or not? And as soon as you've got those patents, it seems to be protected and gives you a few more scores when applying for funding.
That's true. On the other hand, you can patent software when you're not in US. That's one problem. And we mainly are software. That means hardware is also ours. We own all the IP, but you can copy the hardware, but you can't copy the software actually, because that's very, very delicate and complex software architecture that we have, and that's something that runs the machine. I would say that it's easy to build a similar looking machine, but to make it work as ours do, regarding all the AI and all the other stuff, that's the tricky part.
And from the product point of view, you've got software that runs the setup of equipment, and you've got several applications, right?
Yes, there's quite a lot going on. Everything is in cloud, and we have, I think, 8 different servers running different parts, starting from the client view and the the customer view, and then of course the robotics. The arm we use is based on an AI algorithm, so it doesn't go to a certain point, but it calculates its way all along. So it knows the end point and the beginning point, and all the movements are calculated knowing the 3D room around it. So that's how it works.
And the arm, you used to be using Franka Emika from Germany, right?
Correct. Yes, there's a slight problem with Franka. They bankrupted 2 years ago, but a Chinese company.
But they were bought out by
Yeah,
somebody.
Chinese company.
Okay.
Yeah, and now the arm is double priced.
It was not cheaper at that time as well.
It was one of the cheapest actually. 12K was one arm.
Okay.
With the software and everything. So that's 3 times cheaper than the industrial ones. Plus, it's a collaborative robot, so it can be opened up with the people, right? But now it's 24, 26, something like that. And we're considering using a new one because it's too expensive, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, Chinese manufacturers, dozens of them who can offer something competitive for a much lower budget.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So you've got the setup, you've got the arm, you've got the software, you've got the team, you've got funding. You mentioned that throughout those years, it was about 2 million euro, right? Correct. Not so much for the hardware project.
That's nothing, actually. For that, you don't get to do anything, actually. Building the first prototype cost about 500,000. Second prototype was, let's say, 250. Third one was 84K with the development. So the next ones we can build much cheaper already. And we are planning now to go into industrial production. We have a lot of customers waiting all over the world. There's big companies, a cruise ship company. There's 400 bar and restaurant chain. There's cocktail bars. There's all kinds of venues, airports, and so on. We have orders lined up, but now we are fundraising just to produce those machines, and we are planning to do it industrially now. So optimization process, fast, 3 months. And then hand over the drawings, the BOM, all the information to a company that is going to build. We also have a UK company to be able to do that in UK because they have government grants and all kinds of funding options there. And we have a very good partner in Wales who is willing to build the machines. The other option is use a local electronics factory here in Estonia who's also able to set up the production line. So yeah, we're looking to go into production soon.
So no plans to relocate production to Asia?
Why not, actually? We have one offer from India, one from China. It's a bit scary for me as knowing that they have those back engineering factories there and you can't control what's going on there. But the way of doing it is to spread the details around different factories. Let's say all the plastics here, all the metal works in India, all the electronics there. So then it's sure and safe bet to do that. A lot of logistics, of course, but I would rather hire a producer in Europe and they produce wherever they need to produce the parts. I think that's a safe way of doing it.
So regarding the finance, just to finish that subject, so as far as I know, the very first angel money was coming from your partner.
Yeah, a good friend.
I guess you mentioned initially. And the rest, was it like VC angel funding or grants?
Well, that was also a bit of a struggle. I tried to get the VC funding, but when you have a half-made prototype of something so outwardly, then people don't tend to believe that it's something that you or that customers need or buy. And we didn't have clients at that point or nothing. So it took me half a year of going around talking to VCs. None of them showed any interest. And then I turned to one of my friends who is owning the business conglomerate here, one of the biggest companies around all over the Baltics. So their turnover is 1 billion. They own, starting from Apple stores, all the cinemas, pharmacies, you name it, 200 companies. Skeleton Group, for instance, who produces the superconductors and so on. So they liked the idea, and they invested first €1 million to finish the prototype, build the second one for Expo, and runway for a couple of years. And then they did, we had an agreement for one investment round, but they did 4. So they liked the idea. They pushed us as far as possible. But for them, it was just a small pet project. They have so much on the table. So they never interfered. They never told me what to do, or they were kind of silent investor. And we decided together that we need now somebody from outside, maybe a strategic one who also is in the business or somehow connected to hospitality or whatever, bars, food and beverage. So this kind of investor would be the most perfect. Or actually, there's one type of investor or a partner that would be most perfect is the beverage companies, because for them our machine is an advertising tool. Second, it's a perfect generator of big data, because when I used to run the bars, then drinks companies or the wholesalers always came to me to ask information. For instance, Pernod Ricard, the guys were always asking which drinks are selling, which is trending, which age groups people order what, because you can't get that information in bulk. And the bars usually hide it because there's a lot of cash moving around and they don't show the sales as they are. And that's stealing in the bars. So it's not a proper data that you get there. But this machine records everything. So you can see client profiles, you can see, in which part of the world what is trending, which drinks go better, and you can do promotions. You can brand the machine, and for us also the beverage company, first, they understand what we do. Secondly, they are our ambassadors to every bar in the world. If you partner up with Bacardi, let's say, then they can take us anywhere
Right.
as an advertising and promotional tool. So I guess partnering up with a liquor company or whatever beverage could be the best. We have been partnering up with Absolut for 2 years. They were supporting us with a bar in Tallinn here. And that was a successful kind of cooperation, but it had how to say end date. So we finished up at one point, and I had to close down the bar also because the rental agreement was over. We made it only for the pop-up bar, just to test, just to fix the bugs, to get the client feedback, to run it as a showroom, and so on. But at one point, I had to close it down because I discovered that I'm running a bar again, not robotics company anymore. It took so much time up, so we decided to close it down and focus on production and development.
I see. So nowadays, are there any robotic bartender solutions by YANU operational running in the field? How
Yes,
it works?
actually, there's more and more coming. I think you have an Excel file where all of those are listed. I think there's altogether about 50 companies lined up. They are very different. I would say today there's about 10 companies, or maybe 7, 8 that are serious, that have machines, either a prototype or up and running at the clients. There is one big competitor that has been already 10 years active. I think they have about 15 machines, I think, all over the world up and running. I've seen their solution. There's some things they are doing better, some things worse. We are the only mobile one right now, and smallest and the fastest. There's one in US that has done a very fast development called Cecilia, but their solution is more focused on the communication. So it's a big screen where there's an avatar with a lady that talks to you, and ordering a drink takes a lot of time because you have to say and pay and all that. It takes minutes and minutes. Then there's faster solutions that look like kiosk. For instance, Polish guys, very nice team, has developed a machine called Pole, and it's strictly for the beer. So it's kind of a beer kiosk. Things machines move in as a rotator there, and it delivers beer quite fast. There's a couple of guys who are doing juices and smoothies, quite well prepared and quite well and fast working solutions. Then there's a huge array of coffee makers. There's more and more coming from Korea, starting from with Coffeex, and you know the business and field very well. Then I've seen a couple of ice cream robots, mostly from Asia. I know a couple of European ones, and there's more and more coming. I would say there's about 20, 30 companies that only have 3D or CGI. So that means they are developing and they have an idea. Maybe they are testing the market. Maybe they are in between of the development process. I haven't seen the prototype. So there's a lot going on, but I haven't seen much out there at the clients and up and running, so to say. There's more on food robotics because I guess there's more money in it, maybe. But regarding drinks, I'm a bit surprised that there's not much going on because there's thousands and thousands of bars. There's missing workforce. There's need for speed. There's long shifts. There is a real need for that, but I haven't seen much solutions up and running, and that's weird. I've been thinking that over the 5 years that why there isn't yet an explosion of that. Maybe it is a bit early, as some of the investors have told me that you are ahead, and that's a good thing because you have a fully developed machine, and once the explosion goes, then everybody needs the machines. So I think maybe somebody needs to break the camel's back here and set out there 20, 50, 100 machines, and that it becomes kind of a, how to say, a standard, or that the other bar owners can see that the machines work, they are fast, they are cool, they are communicative, they are attracting people, it's an experience. People are not afraid of the robots, and this I would say it's a cliche, a stupid cliche that everybody thinks that the people want to talk to bartenders. No, they don't want to talk to bartenders, and the bartenders don't want to talk to you. If you're again in an expensive bar, then yes, that's the experience. You get a nice cocktail. Our robot does not make a cocktail like a professional bartender with all the fancy stuff on top of that. But it does a proper one. It does a regular cocktail like you get in any nightclub. If you need fast service and if you need replace people, or not replace, but if you need, how to say, somebody to be there instead of the people that are not there, then the robot is very much replacing that, I would say, and people should not be afraid that I've seen it now over 5 years, that people love to interact. Of course, there's a couple of people who say, I don't want the robot. I don't want to have a drink from a robot. There was an old guy who came to my bar and said, so where are the tits? I want to see the tits on a bartender, right? So there are these people too, always. They want to see tits. Yeah, and of course, once there will be humanoid bartenders who have tits too. But
right.
I mean, that's bullshit, actually. Most of the people, they are very happy to see something new and experience that the robot can make a proper drink and can talk to you and, remember your name next time and your favorite drink. So there's a lot of opportunities there, I would say.
I guess you've got the AI element in the form of a chat box integrated in YANU, which is a kind of alternative to communication to those who are seeking for it.
Yes, we have been a bit careful. We started out developing our own chatbot at 2017-18, when there were no proper LLMs and those solutions that we have today. The projectional cost was 120K for the first version, super expensive at that time. So we did a light version of it. It was quite stupid. Worked on if then basis. So if you get some kind of a question, then you give this answer. So quite a stupid one. And we didn't let it live because it was very clumsy, and for ordering, especially if there's a lot of people, it didn't work. Then when the new solutions came out, then we decided that we're gonna stay back a bit and see where it goes, and wait until it's properly clever and able. And now we're developing and finalizing a voice bot. So that means we're not doing the text anymore. In the beginning, we thought we're gonna do a mobile app and text and screens and all that. No, we're gonna go for a voice, and there's a reduced one in the POS. That means it doesn't hold long philosophical conversations, because then the people will stay there and keep the ordering station busy. But it does the main stuff. Fast questions. You can walk to the bar and say, "I want my gin tonic." It says, "Here you go, sir," and maybe ask, "How do you like it? Would you like another one?" So a quick one. But it talks all the languages. It understands. There's special microphones that take speech only from that person who is ordering, and so on. And then we're gonna implement a proper one, or a how to say, a smart one in the mobile app, where you can really hold discussions. It knows everything about bartending, drinks, history, whatever, and that one runs on a generative AI already, that understands, collects feedback, remember stuff and all that. So we will have those two layers, and I think that's going to be the main component next that we are going to work on to make this machine more able, because I started maybe the wrong way. Cecilia has developed or deployed now over the 20 machines over the US, I think, and their success is the communication and the experience, right? I started with an idea that I will build a tool for the bar owners that is perfect for them, that is fast, all that, technically perfect. But I completely forgot about the communication side or the fun side. And that's something I'm going to repair or turn around now and make it more of an experience.
So is it going to be a kind of pivot of the project?
In a way, I mean, the technical side is done. Of course, we add more bells and whistles, all kinds of stuff on the go. But I think we need to focus now more on the communication side, and that's something you can call it a pivot. I would say rather advantage or next level or something.
Yeah, right. So based on my experience in the coffee robots business, which I also mentioned today, quite many projects among those who show consistency in their development work with the product models that are not a full replacement to the complete concept, but a kind of hybrid experience where the technology is naturally blended and integrated into a regular traditional setup, maybe even not replacing the human stuff, but a kind of adding extra value to them, working alongside with them. And you've been mentioning some of the competitors. I guess you were referring to Makr Shakr as well. You mentioned they've got 15 locations, right? In 10
about
years.
Europe,
about like that.
Yeah.
I've been visiting them when in Milano several times, although they quit that location there when I was there last year at this Host Milano event. They were not available there any longer, as probably things were not so good. And I guess their experience is a kind of this, where you can choose, either you get a drink from a robot or you get a drink from a regular staff, where you've got waiters.
With them, it's quite funny. I've been trying to understand their business model. That is a bit unclear. Also, they are using very expensive industrial robots. I guess they have two of those, and they cost like 45K, and they sell the machine for 100K, the whole machine. So it's a bit of mystery to me where the money comes. But I've seen, I think, 5 of their robots. Last time, first I saw in Vegas. That's one of their oldest, and it was a surprise to me because the bottle was empty. It spilled the glass. That shows that the robot doesn't know how many shots are in a bottle. That was a surprise. Second was Amsterdam. The machine was fine, but at the same time, it spilled a lot of drinks. It's a problem of the shaker. The lid doesn't close properly, or it drips, and it was kind of dirty. So a guy had to clean all the time. That was also a bit surprising me, and it also dropped one drink. I think, it was in Amsterdam, and in Prague, it was a similar experience, and everywhere that I noticed the client can't access the machine.
Can't.
Maybe it's because of the industrial robots, but there's always a guy who takes the drink and gives it to a customer. The other thing is that there's somebody always with a remote or tweaking something, and that's surprising because they have been developing for a long time, spending a lot of money, and the machine is actually cool doing all the shaking and all that. But that was something that we tried to avoid, that the people or the customer needs to have that experience up front. So what we have done is you can be at the robot is like 10 centimeters from you, you can have the bar experience, you can stay at the counter, you get the drink from the robot, and that's very important. We have a couple of customers who are looking for the machine in the means of what you just described as a helper. For instance, there's a casino or 2 casinos, one in Vegas, one in Tallinn, who want the machine to be there in a pedestal, looking nice, but as a helper for the runners, for the girls. And the reason is very simple, because they don't want the customers to stand up from the machines and from the table. So the machine makes the drinks, a girl takes the glass and brings it to the table. And that's understandable. That's their business, right? But for instance, there was also a big nightclub in Ibiza that wanted the machine behind the bartenders. So it's helping to make the cocktails fast, but they don't want to put it out because the drunk people will break it, and it's going to be a mess there. And they just decided that it's a nice thing to look. Everybody sees how it's making cocktails, but the cocktail is then served by a bartender who puts an additional umbrella there and maybe some cherries and whatever the stuff. And it's a helper, and that's also an opportunity. Why not? It makes super fast drinks, it makes proper drinks, and there's still a human touch there. Why not?
And what is your current business model you're offering for your clientele?
There's 3 options, 3 ways, because the clients are so different. We decided that we keep all those because there's companies who want to buy the machine. Let's say if you have a bar or a nightclub, you want to own the machine because your money is the drinks, right? We sell it for 150K. It's a lot of money, but as I said, return on investment is fast. Second option is subscription. For instance, hotels, airports, they don't want to buy the machines. They want the service. They want to share the revenue. That's the model. And we offer it 7,500 euros a month and minimum 2 years contract. And that's, I would say, very reasonable. That's a salary of a good bartender or 2 bartenders, let's say, in Western Europe. And the third one is the short-time rent, because there has been a lot of events. For instance, yesterday I talked to a lady from Dubai. There's a one-day event, a very high-profile, 300 people, super location, and they want the machine for one day. And I told them, well, it takes 2 months to ship. They said, yeah, sure, fine, ship it. I said, it's going to be expensive. They said, why not? Tell me the number and ship it over.
Yeah.
And the same with the expos. We have been partnering with Siemens now for 3 years. They use our machine as a showcasing tool or how to say, a magnet or a gimmick at their booth. We went to many events, IFA Berlin, the biggest tech conference, for instance. We set up the machine and they have their booth, and it's a kind of an invitation and fun thing. And these companies pay a lot of money for those days. And this is our kind of third line that has been bringing us most revenue so far. So we rent out for a short period too. And also, let's say 1 month, 2 months, that's for instance a French company who has a kind of a theme park for the family, and they want for 2 months in the summer only. So for that time, we will make an offer and bring it over for 2 months. And for us, it's maybe kind of the best business.
Okay, so for me, as an entrepreneur, I can buy it for 150K one unit and do whatever I want to, load the stuff, put anywhere, charge any price, get support from you, right?
Yes.
Some warranty.
Yeah. For that money, we bring the machine, ship it over, set it up, train your people how to use it, how to maintain it. We help them to hire a local company to service it, because that's the easy way. That's how we do the maintenance. We are not flying all over the world and spending time and money on that. But we find a company in your city who services bar machinery. If they can do, fridges, ice machines, they can do our machine. We have a proper manual. We train them. We show how everything works. There's a maintenance app, all that. So most of the stuff they can do themselves. If there's a technical person or somebody who understands a bit machinery, they can take care of everything. Robot arm is Franka. It's their problem. Software is remotely, of course. So it's nothing so difficult. When I was in Dubai Expo, I serviced the machine twice a week. And we had 500K people coming through there. The machine can hold 1,500 drinks, 1,000 glasses, and that's a lot. If it's a nightclub, you need a daily maintenance and replacement of bottles and glasses. If it's a bar or a public venue, I would say twice a week. That's completely enough. Of course, you need to clean it regularly. And there's maybe a need for one person in the room for the security, hosting purposes, taking care of stuff. But that's more of how to say, so it feels that the room is just not a robot or empty. That's why I've always had a person there. But actually you don't need, because the pavilion, the machine was alone there, and there wasn't much problems. Yeah.
For the rent, I can rent it at 7.5K whatever USD euro per month, right?
No, yeah, that's a subscription, and that means we expect you to rent it over the couple of years.
Couple of years, right?
But the rental for events, it's a different story every time. Depends where you are, how many people, how many drinks, do you sell the drinks, do you deliver the drinks, how many days. So we make an offer for each event. It starts from 10K up to the most expensive event we have been doing was maybe 40, 38, something like that.
Okay, got it. And you as a company, you do not invest into running the machines and getting revenue from drink sales.
We tried it with a robot bar, and it was a good business, I would say. Ideally, if I would have a proper investment to set it up, I wouldn't sell the machines but run them myself, because the big money is in the drinks. And if you own the machine and you get the drinks out there without salaries and all that, that's a big business actually. For us, selling the machines today is not when you look at the financial projections, then the numbers are very good, I would say. But if you add selling drinks there, it goes crazy. Of course, you have an extra layer of problems. You need to rent the premises. You need to deal with the staff to service the machines. You need to advertise the locations, do all the, you run a bar, and it's a different business. But if you combine those two businesses, then I would say it's wow.
Got it. And you've been mentioning Dubai, Europe, right? So what is your target in terms of geography?
Mostly the playground today is Europe and Arabian countries. Because of Expo, we have a lot of traction there. We have a contract with a Saudi company for 30 machines. They are waiting for the machines that serve coffee. They want to open a chain of robot cafes. Then UK, most of Western Europe, actually, I think nearly every European country has some prospective clients. Now US is popping up with the last year. I don't know. I think that came out a TV story or a newspaper article. I got a lot of calls from there. Mostly the hotspots like New York, Miami, California, of course, restaurants, cocktail bars, Art Basel, all kinds of different small and big names. Asia, Japan, zero, to my very big surprise. I met with Suntory people and they were interested, but at one point disappeared. Either they are developing their own machine or they lost interest somehow. I don't know why. But other than that, nothing from Japan. Considering how tech savvy they are, that's very surprising. But there has been a lot coming from India. Maybe even 20 contacts who are very interested. Problem with India is they have a huge import tax. I think it was like 50% or something on the machinery from outside. Then 3, 4 Singapore, Thailand, but I've kind of set the Asia aside because it's a different planet. I mean, you need to be there, you need to have big volumes. We focus right now on Europe, Arabian countries, and US.
And in terms of licensing, if I invest and run this equipment, I need some special alcohol license. Is it vending license or what?
Good question. Licensing is tricky and expensive. Not in those means. I mean, if you run a bar, then you need the alcohol licenses. I have alcohol license for Estonia. When I go to events, then I don't need it. Or the event organizer worries about that. Licensing, technical wise, I have the CE. That's enough for Europe and UK. UK has some additional licenses that we might meet but are not compulsory. Arabian countries is very easy. Saudi has some regulations, so they check the machine when you start selling that it complies. US is difficult. There's
FDA.
Yes, and I think NFS or something.
Yeah.
That's also a requirement, and I talked to a couple of trade lawyers that say that proper entering the market costs about 1 million euros or dollars, and if you want to do it, properly, or 500,000 at least. So there you need licenses. We haven't done those yet. That's why we're also fundraising to get the licensing straight. And for US operation, you need quite a lot of legal backing also. So not to be sued, not to be, the problems. That's the US is also a different planet. It's a huge market, and it definitely is very interesting for us. But we need to be well prepared to enter there. Today we can go for a year. It means as how to say. We claim that we are going for showcasing, and you can take it to a location and showcase there up to a year, I think. So that's one way of doing it. Yeah, and exactly. And then either legalize it on spot or move it out and there's options, but to properly enter the market is expensive. EU is a very easy way of doing things today, and I think that's our main target today.
Got it. So, Alan, there is a product which serves drinks. The taste is nice. Your advertising is great. I remember the video you made with the lady coming to YANU bartender, very professional.
Yeah.
The drinks are great. The events you participated are great. So, what is the bottleneck which does not allow to scale up, not only for you, but for other companies as well? Because quite few companies in the market for quite some years, but even the most successful ones, I mean, in terms of locations, have very limited number of locations compared to other QSR chains.
I have to stress again the funding, because as you know, over the last year and a half, one of the investors said that it's the worst investment climate in 15 years. So getting funding today is nearly impossible, I would say. I know in Estonia, a lot of successful startups have been closing down, even who have contracts with the investors. So it's a bad time to be developing and for a hardware company, especially because software is software. You can pause it, you can do it cheaper, you can run it. It's much easier to do, but hardware is a very cash incentive. You need to be secure, and to scale up in the beginning is expensive. I mean, you need to produce, you need to get them out there. To get this going is expensive. My financial projections today are such as 15 machines and the company breaks even. Once they out there. Yeah, no, once we've sold 15 machines, then it breaks even. But then there's a big question, how do we move on? Shall we continue with 15 machines a year? Or I don't know, 10, 20? Or shall we go for 100 or 500? And that already needs, again, a big investment. So we could do 15 with a fundraising plans that we are right now pursuing, and then produce another 15 and then another 15, but that's monkey business, right? I mean, it's not a big thing. But if we produce 100 machines right away or 500, then it's another story, and the numbers are in tens of millions. What else? I would say there is still maybe a doubt among the customers that there's not much machines up and running. So they have a question, why don't you have machines up and running? Why there are so few? Is there only a novelty value, or do the customers accept it? So one fear is also the customers, that they are a bit afraid that there's a number of customers that come to see it once and then it's done. It's not the news anymore. It's not interesting anymore. But I think there are places where it is an experience, and there are places where it's tool. Once the people get used to it in a nightclub, then I think everybody understands that instead of standing big lines or long lines and waiting, you can get your drink right away, and that speaks for itself. So I think we need more implementation. We need more machines up and running in a very different venues also, not only, let's say, nightclubs, but public spaces, office spaces, offering coffee, whatever, big buildings, I don't know, museums. So once there's more visibility, I think people get more used to it and see that it works, it's useful, and there's nothing to be afraid. I think we haven't still got over that curve, and it's still there at the novelty, cool toy gimmick area. And I don't know today how to get over that in another way than putting the machines out there. Maybe doing it ourselves in the beginning, maybe finding those first movers, maybe partnering up with a huge beverage company who suddenly throws 1,000 machines out there, and then it's a standard, then it's a norm, and they are the first movers and they have the market. So that's my dream.
Got it. And based on my coffee robots business and analysis, recently I released a coffee robots report. I analyzed more than 50 manufacturers who are now active in the market, their sales, the number of units in the field, technical and some financial aspects. And my findings are that first, the most successful are those who offer the product at lower prices. I'm not like mentioning the quality, because it can be premium, can be average, can be low, but the most successful in terms of number of units are those who charged less. Second were those who were playing with the hybrid setups, when they tried not to make 100% replicas, but a kind of integrate. And third, those the projects who introduced kind of business models, something close to what you mentioned, subscription for 2 years.
Yeah.
But those I'm referring to, there is a company in Korea who introduced 4-year subscription with not a very high financial cost per month, with the 30% advance payment for those 3 years, and that allowed like to significantly to get a significant number of customers in the market, but they used I guess their own funds to finance the production, but at least that allowed them to have many units running in the ground.
30% actually might pay already for the production too, I would say, depending on well, the production price I believe could be around 30 to 50K if you do it wisely and properly, or depending on the machinery you use, because the professional coffee equipment is expensive and the robot is expensive and so on. But I mean, if you could get the production money already from a client up front, then you're good.
True. And what about the B2C? So those people, those customers who like actually finance the very final partner, are they ready to pay? Are they ready to come to a robotic bartender on a regular basis?
I think so. At least, well, there's always news and the buzz, and the depends how you market it too, right? So if it's a new venue, if it's a cool place, if it's something, then it definitely works. What we did, we set up the machine in a kind of a new city block that is quite popular, but more of a tourist area. The locals don't go there much. There's a lot of restaurants, but it's how to say, not so popular. We didn't do any advertising, just a bit. We had a sign outside and the big windows and so on, and it even then worked. The tourists came by, and they stepped in. They took a drink. Sometimes they didn't even drink it. They just needed a video or wanted the experience. So I think the customers are ready if the venue owners are. So I see a lot of venue owners who are curious, who some immediately understand the benefits, some immediately check the numbers and say, "Wow, this looks better than I expected." Some are very doubtful, and that's understood. That's logical, because it's a lot of money, and if it doesn't work or whatever, then you have a problem, right? But I think the main hindrance here is the venue owners. So we gotta convince them that the machines work, they're an attraction, people like them, and come and test. And I think maybe subscription works best here. So let's say we give them 3 month time to refuse or send it back. Test it 3 months, and if it doesn't work, we take it back. And this, I guess, would create a lot of interested venues that would like to try or have a pilot or test it.
Right. So, Alan, what is your, so to say, message to those entrepreneurs who are either looking to set up their own robotic F&B business, or those who are considering either to invest or not to invest, buy or not buy equipment? Can they make money on it or not?
Mm-hmm. For the ones wishing to start a robotics company, well, you have to have big balls, steel nerves, a lot of time, and brave heart.
And deep pockets.
And deep pockets, definitely, yeah. I mean, I'm very much pro startups. As you know, most of them fail, but you have to try. I'm advising to use EU funding. There's a lot of great opportunities and grants for that might take you far. I advise you to use universities and scientists, but definitely you need a good planning. You need to know what to do, how to do it, what the market really thinks, because I did a bit the same mistake as most startups do. They have a great idea and they start building it instead of testing the market. So I could have done things a bit differently. and maybe being faster and more successful, or yeah, doing things right, or not doing so many mistakes if I would have known how to do it and what the market actually expects. But it was quite hard to find it out, because when I talk to people, then it's a thing that doesn't exist, and the people don't know what exactly it needs to be. I mean, I know what the bar owners lack and what are their problems, but I went to solving those problems, and at the same time, I didn't see that there's other aspects to it, or the communication would be important, or that I don't know, just small stupid things, that the glasses need to be a bit different, or the robot needs to move in a more smooth
Yeah.
way. So these things I only discover along the way. But a good planning and a good team is essential. These people have to know what they're doing. If yeah, if you're creating a, I don't know, something simple, then maybe you invent it along the way. But if you do something complex, especially robotics, then you really need to know, and the people that are your engineers or the technical people also need to know what they do. Otherwise, you waste a lot of money and time redoing things, doing things wrong, discovering that the people that you're working with don't know, or they defect to your competitors. That has happened to me a couple of times. They just leave and take your information. They steal a lot of information and bring it to a competitor. That also might happen. So make sure your legal is very tight, and it's always good to invest in a good legal team, or at least one good lawyer. Today, by the way, AI is very good in creating documents. I've created quite a few contracts with that, and then asked my professional lawyer to review it. And investors, well, investors are super careful right now. I've talked to many over the year. Right now, most of them think it's a wonderful idea and we've gone far. But as you know, VCs look at the numbers,
Right.
revenue, and how many machines you have up and running, the traction, all that. If that is missing, then some of them just say goodbye. Some of them are interested to invest, but they are looking for more traction. And that's understandable, because they VCs work by Excel and the numbers. That's understandable. But I think there's definitely some strategic investors and angels also who like the idea and who understand the idea and who can see the full potential. Uh, I'm reading a very good newsletter that I would advise. It's called Robotics Roundup. It is a monthly newsletter that focuses mostly on the investments. So they line up all the investment that has been done previous month. Let's say, I don't know, SMICE raised 5 million from those and those and those companies. So it gives you a good overview who are investing and to what. Most of them are connected to food, of course. There's a few beverage investments over the last months. And then the agriculture, but everything in the F&B and food tech. And it has been a very useful tool for me to see who is doing investment. There are some very big ones, there are small ones, very specific ones, the government ones. So all of that is listed. So regarding investments, I would advise to check the Robotics Roundup newsletter. And from there, I can see that there's still investments going on. I would say 10 to 20 monthly that are well known, maybe some hidden ones also. But the investment, let's say, market is not dead completely. There used to be much, much more before, but I think we're in kind of a difficult economic situations right now, and considering what's going on in the political grounds, it's not gonna be easier soon, I would say. But the strongest survive, and I would say there's definitely a huge market in robotics, food robotics. I just read a paper that said that in bartending robotics, let me see the exact numbers if I can find them fast, but I think the numbers were next year there's 1.2 billion specifically in bartending robotics, and huge numbers in automated food robotics and also service robotics. So, and I think the growth over the year was about 12 to 21% per year growth on the service robotics. So it's a very fast growing sector.
The industry is there, the appetite is there, although there was some decline over time. Okay, I got it. And regarding the EU funding, as far as I know, you've got your side project that supports other companies who are looking for European grants. You can assist with that as a service, right?
Yeah.
Is there some particular website,
Yes.
link, page, or whatsoever?
Yeah, it's easy.ee. It's focused right now on Estonia's grants, but we are planning for the end of spring to cover all the European grants available and cover all European countries also locally. So the idea is that you go on the webpage, you enter your company name, the AI automatically goes to the business registry, to all kinds of databases, collects information, also your homepage, and creates a match, how to say, a match spreadsheet where you can see which grants match perfectly, which ones need tweaking or this and that, and the ones that don't match. Then you get a consultation from us, 15 minutes with a professional consultant who tells you all the details, make sure that you qualify, and then we find you a company or a person who will write you the application or help you to fill it in, because that's super tricky sometimes and a lot of bureaucracy and paperwork. But the plan for the end of the year is to be able to also create the applications by the AI. So the AI will interview, collect all the information. We already have a business plan creating robot online that is quite good already. Actually, I just tested it yesterday with one of my own companies, and it creates you a 20-page proper business plan. You need to give the input, of course, additional information that it can find, but it's quite good and quite able already. And in the end of the year, we plan to roll out a proper AI assistant that writes you the whole application, and the beginning of next year also does the reporting. That is a pain in the ass, sorry to say. During the process, you need to file in the reports quarterly, and that's so difficult. And we try to automate all that. So, yeah, that's a little side business I did.
Cool. Okay. I think we've touched the most interesting aspects. Of course, there's much more to discuss, but those were the key milestones. Alan, I'm really grateful to you for the discussion, for your time, for going online. I really hope that the stories of such food tech entrepreneurs who've been in the industry, about their successes, losses, about the path they've been covering so far, would bring benefit to the industry. And I'm absolutely sure that the more successful, loud projects we have in the market, the better it is for the industry, because it will bring interest from everybody: society, investors, customers, B2B, B2C, governments, everybody.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And that's, it's a thriving world. And bartending is, I don't know, how many thousands of years old business. And I think it's time to revolutionize it and make things easier for everybody and more fun too. And I think everybody understands it when they have been in a bar, that it can be faster, it can be more fun, it can be, and they're always looking for new opportunities and something cool and something inviting. So I think there's a lot coming, and there's a lot of opportunities hidden there. So yeah, if entrepreneurs want some additional information, you are very welcome to contact me. of course, all the investors are welcome to contact, and everybody who is interested of the subject or is a player there. I think we should maybe even create a room or a place or a way of talking about it more and getting the message more out there and inviting more people to discuss and understand what we are doing.
Fully agree with you. So I will leave details of YANU and your projects below this podcast, as anybody who is looking to discuss partnership opportunities and whatever, everybody is welcome to share their thoughts, comments, views, feedback in regards to this discussion and to the subject matter we touched. So Alan, hope to see you soon at a drink, maybe at a cup of coffee.
Yes, we can make each other's robots to serve each other. One gives us the coffee and the other one gives the drink.
Right. Okay, my regards to Estonia, and thank you very much for this discussion.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Talk soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.